Asma, and today on my channel I'm going to be starting off another series on how to make sushi, such as how to make sushi rolls, sushi balls, and other types of sushi. But today, starting off with the basics, I'm going to show you how to make a sushi rice. Now, sushi chefs take years to perfect how to make sushi rice, but today I'm just going to briefly show you how to make it so you could go on and make some more sushi. So, let's get started. For the ingredients you will need 2 cups of sushi rice, 2 1/4 cups of water, half a cup of rice vinegar, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Starting off, we're going to season the rice vinegar, and we're doing this ahead of time because it needs to set aside for about 30 minutes. So we're doing this before we actually wash the rice. Now, the traditional kind use some kombu seaweed, but we're just going to leave that out today to make it a little simpler. So to the rice vinegar, I'm going to add the sugar and the salt. Then we're going to stir this up. If you're planning to make sushi really often, just make a huge batch of the seasoned vinegar, keep it in a non-metal jar in the fridge, and just take out some when you actually need to use it. Once this is all stirred up, I'm just going to set it aside for about 30 minutes until the sugar and the salt are dissolved. Before we cook the rice, we're going to wash the sushi rice. Now, this is just for making sushi, and you can buy it in Chinese, Japanese, or Korean supermarkets. I'm going to dump the rice into a bigger bowl. Turn the water on. And just wash it until the water is no longer cloudy. Doing this is going to get rid of all the starch. When you're washing the sushi rice, you want to make sure you're using cold water, not warm or hot water. So once the water is all cloudy, you could dump it out. And you don't want to lose any of the rice. We're washing the sushi rice to get rid of all of the starch. And it might take a few times, almost 5 to 6 times, to get the water completely clear. So you're just going to wash this until the water is no longer cloudy. This is my 5th time of washing it, and as you can see, the water is pretty much clear now. So I'm just going to grab a sieve, pour the rice into it. Now we're going to rinse it one last time. Now strain away all of the water. Once the rice is washed and strained, I'm going to start to cook it. So I'm using a rice cooker here today. I'm going to add in the rice. I'm using 250 grams of sushi rice today and 400 milliliters of tap water. You want to flatten it down. Get rid of any rice that has come up the sides, because if you leave it there and cook it, it would burn when it's cooking. So once it's flattened, we could get it into the rice cooker. Before we cook this, you want to make sure the bottom of the container is nice and dry. And now just place it into the rice cooker. And cook rice. It's been about 15 minutes and my rice has cooked. And I left it in there for about an extra 5 to 10 minutes for it to absorb any of the extra moisture. Now, it takes about 20 minutes average for each rice cooker to cook their rice, but the cook time just depends on which type of rice cooker you have. After half an hour, you can see the vinegar is now nice and clear. All the sugar and the salt has been dissolved. And the rice is also cooked now, so we are ready to start to season the rice as well. Now prepare a wide, deep container to mix the rice with the rice vinegar. Traditionally in Japan, they usually use a wooden big round container. But if you don't have one of those, you could just do what I do and use a deep casserole dish. But I just want to make sure whatever you use, it's non-metal. So now I'm going to take the rice out. I like to use oven mitts. And I'm going to flip it into my casserole dish. Now I'm going to drizzle over the rice vinegar onto a wooden spoon. You could also use a non-stick paddle that comes with a rice cooker if you want. And I'm going to drizzle it over the paddle while moving it a little so that it's evenly distributed. And I'm just going to cut through the rice. Cutting through the rice makes sure that there's no lumps in the rice, so the vinegar could evenly mix into it. Once you have loosened up all the rice, just mix the rice vinegar into it. And as you mix, you will find that the rice is starting to get stickier. You can see the rice is really sticky now. So once you have mixed in all of the rice vinegar, while you're mixing, the rice has pretty much cooled down, but if it's not cooled down completely, I'm just going to flatten the rice so it's evenly spread out. And I'm going to drape over a damp towel. Now doing this will make sure that the rice does not dry out while it's cooling down. And you want to make sure the towel is clean. So I'm just going to leave like this until the rice is completely cooled. My rice is cooled down, and while you're cooling it down, you want to make sure you don't place it into the fridge. It would speed up the cooling process, but that would just make the rice a lot harder and it might dry out as well. Once you have made your sushi rice, I would suggest you to use it in one day so it's nice and fresh. But you could make the rice vinegar ahead of time, so when you want to make sushi, just cook up your rice, mix in the rice vinegar, and you have sushi rice to make some sushi. To store it, just keep it in an airtight container.